Morning. I know it's been a while since I've done a vlog, so I thought I'd pop on and explain why and the latest strategy for the menopause. I'm covered in dogs, by the way. It's the morning and my dogs come in. They don't sleep with me, but they come in the morning for a cuddle. So I have been quiet because for the past few months, there's been a few things going on. So set in the context, I have a HRT implant, which is a combination of estrogen and testosterone, which is actually a pellet. It's implanted in my tummy. No, it's not available on the NHS. It costs me about £250 every few months. My implant is coming to the end. It lasts a few months. And I've decided I'm going to not replace it for a little while. That's point one. Point two is the last time I saw my menopause consultant 3 months ago. He was quite concerned, and has been concerned for quite a while actually, about my thyroid and my thyroxine levels. So I have just been taking thyroid medication for the last 3 months. I found a very, very, very minimal improvement in my fatigue. I really struggled. I think it's probably the most chronic symptom I've had in the menopause since it started 7 years ago, is chronic fatigue. And because the impact on my exhaustion has felt to me so small, but the big thing I've observed is it seemed to mess. I don't know how, I'm not a doctor. It seemed to mess with my insulin. Since going on it, I found that my appetite did increase. Actually, I felt really puffy and bloaty and put on quite a lot of weight, which could be for several factors because there's lots of other stuff going on in the background. But again, I have decided that for me, I'm going to give it a rest because it didn't make any huge, or hasn't, maybe I haven't given it long enough, I don't know. So they are the two medications I've been taking. And I've been in the menopause for, well, as far as I've known, for the last 7 years. And I would say that this past 6 to 8 months has been really difficult. My fatigue has been debilitating in that I simply can't get through the day without a nap in the afternoon. I just feel quite poorly, actually, if I don't lay down in the afternoon. The second point is the aches and the cramps all over are really, really, again, really debilitating. Actually, I've woken this morning with them. Some mornings I don't wake with the cramps and the joint pain, and some mornings I do. But no matter what, they come on as the day goes on. And again, they are quite debilitating, resulting most days in me having to take some form of pain relief because it just really hurts. That's all there is to it. It just really hurts. So that is a relatively new and much more acute symptom that I seem to have suffered or be suffering from over the last few months. Point three is that what that means is that my approach to life has been a bit restricted because I need to ensure that I'm able to take regular rests and lay downs, because the only thing that does alleviate my joint pain and the cramps in my body is to actually physically lay down. And if I don't do that, the cramps are specifically bad in my neck, and they just end up in a raging headache because I'm just getting tension. And that, has meant that I really have to be really careful with my time. So my time is used very specifically on what it needs to do with very few extras in. Point 4 is actually my motivation. My general get up and go has basically got up and fucked off. So I don't really feel like doing much with myself a lot of the time. So that is, I suppose, on the slightly more side. On the more positive side, because I am determined, I'm absolutely determined to try and make the best of it and to try and understand what my body is telling me. Just as an aside, I have been scanned, prodded and tested from top to bottom to make sure that there's no underlying acute thing going on that's causing all of this. And there isn't, I've been MRI scanning all kinds of things. I think the consensus with my GP and consultant is, the joints and the pain and the cramps. So one big thing I observed is when I go away on holiday, very often I don't get the muscle cramps as bad. I still get them, but they're not as bad. So I do wonder personally whether it's something to do with the whole anxiety and the cortisol levels. But this is all my hypothesis. I don't know. I'm not a trained medical professional. But what I do know is I live in this body and I need to try and understand it. And I'm determined to do so. On the more positive side, my husband and I joined a really, really lovely gym and spa because, he's really time poor. And we wanted to do stuff together and we weren't keeping fit or any of that jazz. And it's really difficult. I find it really difficult to motivate myself. As does he, more because he's so time poor, me because actually I just don't feel like it a lot of the time. Sorry, these are the dogs just pushing me around. And that has been quite significant for me because it is a super duper beautiful place. And what I've decided is not to get pulled into this rat race of having to get hugely fit and put my body under pressure. Because over the last year in menopause, I've had 2 quite significant injuries. I used to be a very big cardio, get fit, go, I would, get fit day for me would be, let's go and swim 2 kilometres and run 5 kilometres. And, I was a really big cardio girl. I've never really done weights, but, I've always done a lot of swimming. But the last couple of years, I just can't be arsed. It's just too painful. And I tore my Achilles tendon. I can never say that right. I had to have surgery on it. And it's never quite been right since. And also, I've now torn cartilage in my knee. So I think my body's just saying, can we just do softer stuff? So at the gym, and this has definitely been a really big tick for me. I'm very, very positive. I've started resistance training. And I take it really slowly, and I, rest in between, and I'm just really sensible with it. There's no, I don't come out of the gym like massively red faced with sweat pouring off me or anything like that. I just do a little warm up and then I do all kinds of different weights with my husband. And I think I've said this before, the 2 people I follow actually to help me with it are Liz Earle and Sally Gunnell. So I don't pay for a personal trainer or anything like that. We did have our gym membership. We had an intro and we had a routine set, and we have follow-ups and stuff. So people check in with us to make sure we're doing it all properly. But actually, a lot of what I've done is I've looked at, I've just read and watched a lot, and I do that religiously and have been for the last 4 months, twice a week, and that is definitely something that I found really empowering on 2 levels. First of all, it's one of the few times I actually feel empowered and strong. I actually feel that the menopause isn't controlling me. I feel that I've still got a body that works and I still have something that I can do with my body. And I found that quite liberating. And it is lovely because I I started only going with my husband, but now I'm braver, and I do go. Like today, I will go on my own, and I will do my little 10-minute warm-up just on a stepper machine, and then I will go off and do my little weight routine, and I do find it quite liberating, and it makes me feel that I'm still strong. I'm physically able, and that's really important to me. So that's a really big positive. And the second thing that I found, because I've been watching, I don't know if you've been watching on Netflix, the Blue Zones, where people have not only longer lives, but they have really good quality of life. And I've been trying to, take some tips from that. Is in Sardinia, they found a direct correlation between the steepness of a village and the longevity of life, which kind of makes sense, I guess, because people are walking up and down hills, so they're building muscle, and they're keeping their heart going. So I have a very nice hill across the road from me, and only once or twice a week I go out with my friend and we walk up and down the hill, which makes me feel great. Actually, it's good. We don't rush. I don't come home with sweat pouring off me or anything like that. But one of the things I noticed when I started doing it was my knee just hummed when I got in. It was like, do, 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 do. Well, I've got the torn cartilage because it's the inflammation around it that causes the pain. And just as an experiment the other week, I thought, you know what, I'm going to just spend longer doing some saunas. So some days, like yesterday, I just went to my gym, not to actually go to the gym, but to go into the sauna to try and help with my inflammation. So it's been... Last week was my big experiment. I went 4 days running because my knee was really hurting and my joints were really hurting. And actually, when I've been for a couple of hours, I don't need to take painkillers. My knee stopped hurting. So I think that has also been a really big learning, a big thing for me. And I think all of this is to say, fundamentally, I think I've said to myself, I've been following westernized medicine purely for the last 7 years, and I've had the most superb support and quality experts and access, and yet here I am still not feeling great, in quite a lot of pain most days. And so I think I'd like to take a little bit of control back, and this may not work. I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I'm just starting it. But I'm kind of just gonna, I am gonna give it a more natural approach. So there are a number of supplements I am experimenting with. I've done my research on them. I check the reviews. I take the recommendations from very reputable places. Again, Liz Earle is one that I, really respect. At the minute, I'm taking some protein capsules that I've been reading about that are meant to help with your thyroid and so forth. These are all natural based things, and I'm really researching what goes into them. I am taking some ashwagandha, which I would say is definitely helping with my anxiety. So yesterday I really noticed there were a couple of things I would usually be really anxious about when I go out. I was actually quite chilled, and it really hit me yesterday. I've been on ashwagandha now for 10 days. I'm taking some magnesium. I am sleeping well, but that may also be a combination of I'm doing a minimum of 3 saunas a week, so we'll see. And when I started with the sauna, I could barely stay in 5 minutes. So I've just been building it up slowly and just being sensible. I'm taking omega fish oils. I've only just started those, so I'm not quite sure of the impact. What I would say is when I started the protein capsules that I've been taking, I did notice quite a difference in my energy for the day, although I still had lots of aches and pains. What else am I taking? I'm waiting for it to be delivered. I have ordered a turmeric supplement to see whether that helps with my aches and pains. And this morning I've been doing some research on a company called Chloe's or something. I think there's quite a lot of people out there now doing CBD stuff. There's a guy I follow on Instagram. Oh God, he's so delightful, honestly. He's just a ray of sunshine. I just love him. Louis Spencer he's called. And he's not quite, he's like a dancer and a celebrity and so forth, but just a delightful guy to follow. He has a lot of anxiety and depression, and he has come off his medication, and he's trying a lot of the CBD type stuff. And this morning I was doing some research on some CBD balm and other things for pain relief, for inflammation. So, I'll let you know. I don't know. This is all very trial and error. I think this is me just saying, I'm not sure that the medication, I'm not where I want to be. There was a beautiful period actually in the middle of my menopause when I was on HRT patches where I felt brilliant. I felt really well. And that seems such a long time ago now. So there was definitely some stuff that worked during part of my menopause, but for whatever reason, I just don't feel it's working now. And I'm really puffy, and I've put on a lot of weight. I'm 15.5 stone, and if I wrote down what I ate every day, I eat really well. We're really blessed. I'm hugely grateful, because that's the other thing I've been doing. Again, thank you to Liz Earle. I've been really researching food and, what I should be eating in the menopause. I've really upped my protein intake and tried to reduce my sugar intake as much as possible. I'm eating really healthy, full fat stuff. I'm making sure I'm not eating food with lots of preservatives in, not too processed, all of that stuff. And I don't eat an enormous amount. And actually I do either, go for a walk or do my resistance training twice a week, my saunas. I haven't been to yoga for a couple of weeks, but I do love my yoga. That's just been logistical planning rather than me not wanting to go. So yoga's, I think I've said this before, is just an absolute mandatory thing. And I just wonder whether there's something in my mind, I'm just wondering whether there's something about the westernized way of life that disconnects us from nature, that means our diet, it's quite difficult without actually quite a lot of hard work. I mean, it took me hours doing my first, I went to Ocado in the end, because otherwise I was going to several different shops to get stuff. Just going through ingredients and doing research and stuff. I mean, obviously that's getting better, but you kind of need a degree in itself to understand our food industry. I don't know if there's some disconnect. I don't know if this is going to work, but being just on medication isn't working for me. Chronic fatigue, a lot of pain with my joints, huge weight gain. I feel really puffy. You can see how puffy I am. I feel really puffy and stretched. And just a general, I wouldn't say I'm depressed or sad. I just can't be arsed. Just that disengagement. So I guess I just wanted to, I don't have answers. I think all I'm doing is just sharing my own experiments, because carrying on doing the same and expecting a different outcome was it Einstein or Newton or something? That's the definition of insanity. And somehow I just feel like I kind of need to take control of myself. I need to find my own way through, and I think menopause is so intimate and so personal. Even if all this stuff works for me, it doesn't mean it will be for anybody else. I think there's some but something to learn here about really trying to understand and connect and listen to our bodies, and to go with the things that seem to speak to us, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I will let you know how it goes. I've spoken for far too long, nearly 20 minutes. This must be the longest. If you get to the end of this, well done. You need an Oscar in listening to a middle-aged menopausal woman rant on. And as ever, I hope it helps. I hope you're finding your own way in your own journey. And I think there's just something in us listening to ourselves and maybe having more faith in what we kind of understand about ourselves. But I'll let you know how I do. All right, lots of love.